Dear Journal, well, this is the second consecutive journal I've done, which makes it now the longest journal I've ever done. A lot continues to happen in the world. Lots of tragedy, lots of people with opinions, lots of political arguments, and I found lots of people have a lot to say, but not really anyone's interested in listening. Big push right now this last week has been to defund the police, which I guess I fail to see how defunding a band that hasn't been relevant since the 90s is going to help anything, but what do I know? You know, it's funny though, I did listen to one of their songs. I happened to come across it, one of their more popular songs, called Every Breath You Take, which I thought, a song called Every Breath You Take by the Police today, that's a terrible twist of irony, and it got me to thinking. Now bear with me, Journal, because you're going to see how my mind spider webs. It got me to thinking, back when Sting named that song in the 80s, I don't really know how heaven works. Like, God and the angels are outside of time. So was there an angel that, like, rushed into the throne room and was like, hey, God, do you want us to intervene because there's a guy on earth that's about to write a song for his band called The Police, and the song's called Every Breath You Take, and in 2020 that's not going to go over well. So should we, like, step in? Or what do we do? I don't know if that's how it works, where the angels are outside of time, so they think about these things, or if they just sort of hang out and let it play out until God calls on them and dispatches them to go, you know, like, hey, Gabriel, I know you're busy, but I'm going to need you to go tell this girl that she's about to have my son. Like, how do these things work? Which, of course, obviously, got me to thinking, with all that I've been through in my marriage and all of these things, what do the angels think about when they think about those types of things? Is it like, do they look down at, like, Nathan acting the fool for years and go, God, are you gonna, like, I mean, this guy's claiming your name. Are you gonna, like, do you want us to do something? Are you going to, like, intervene? Or are they just used to God's just like, look, I'm going to make everything work together for good. And you guys just hang out and enjoy the ride. I don't know. I don't know how that works. But I think it's super interesting what it would be like to be living outside of time. It's hard for me to think about as a human being what it would be like to not always be going back to the clock. You know, to be able to look at all the turmoil and everything that's going on in the United States right now, all of the difficult decisions that churches are having to make about what they say and don't say, people are having to make about what they say and don't say, parents are having to make about what they do or don't say to their kids, all these difficult choices. When you have all the mosaic of humanity, right, when you're not stuck in time and you can see how it all plays out, man, it really gives me hope to know I worship a God that's outside of all of this. And he knows how these things will work. He knows there's sin involved on all sides. He knows there's wrong involved on all sides. He knows there's a human desire for justice that's given to us by God on all sides. And how he works all this together for good, and that's going to be the ride. And I can't wait to see how that works out, and I'm really glad I don't have to be in charge of that. On the kid front, you know, I thought it would be good to bring maybe just a saying or two each journal entry that talks about, kind of gives you, journal, an idea of what it's like for my kids. You know, we have had issues with Riker because we're potty training him, and he's compliant-ish on the potty training. But he had an accident, and I was kind of getting after him because I think he just waited too long to go to the bathroom. And we were in the bathroom cleaning it up, and I was like, "Man, you gotta get this sorted out." And he just looks at me and goes, "Sometimes the pee just has to come." Hard to argue with that. Sometimes the pee just does have to come. Last thing I got for this week, this prophetic word that I received from P.F. Chang's says, "News of a long-awaited event will arrive soon." Which just goes to show you we're not completely out of the woods with regards to the murder hornets.
Dear Diary, gosh, this has been quite the learning leap week for me. I have discovered some new things about myself, and it's super exciting. So, first, I've discovered I really like beatboxing. I've watched so many YouTube videos that I'm definitely an expert now. Like, I totally am good at it. Yep, I got it down. I'm good. Super good at it. Also, I planted some seeds a few weeks ago. I got some zinnias and some tomato seeds, and I don't remember what else because nothing else is growing. But I planted like 10 different seeds, and only a few of them are growing. But it's really cool to watch seeds grow, and I feel like maybe I'm turning into an 80-year-old woman because I'm thrilled by my seeds growing into plants. Yay me. And I'm really looking forward to some tomatoes. I think I need to get some cats now. A really sweet moment that I learned about myself. I was hanging out with a friend earlier this week. Between the two of us, we have 6 kids. They were running around the backyard at my friend's house. It was super sweet. And I realized this moment just hit me like a truck. A good truck, though. This is what I've always wanted. I'm living the life I've always dreamed of. And it was super sweet. I have a marriage that's a blessing. I have kids that are crazy but great, and I have what I wanted, and it's a huge blessing. So this week was not huge as far as events, which is good. I was ready for kind of a dull week, but it was great, and I learned a lot about myself. And maybe the most interesting thing I learned about myself is I don't like nachos. I've been making nachos for years, and this week I made nachos for dinner, and I realized I don't like these. So that's all.